JBNN will keep you informed. I'm Michelle Jones, and in the news, 2 men gunned down in St. James. Victim found in vehicle with goat. 2 men were found shot to death at Corner Road in Content, Adelphi, St. James on Thursday morning. The men, who were identified as Alex Antonio Green of Charlie Drive in Portobello, St. James, and Dwight Campbell, also for St. James address, were found by residents who reported hearing gunshots in the early morning but waited until daybreak to make checks outside. It was reported that around 4 a.m., residents heard loud explosions sounding like gunshots in the community. Around 6 a.m., they stumbled upon the bodies of the 2 men and called the police. The police, on their arrival, saw the body of one of the men lying on his back along the roadway. It had what appeared to be gunshot wounds to the head. The other male was seen slumped over the steering wheel of a black Toyota now in bushes on the side of the road. He also had what appeared to be gunshot wounds all over his body. Police said the Noah bus had what appeared to be a bullet hole in the front windscreen, damage to the driver door, right fender, right headlamp, front bumper, right front wheel, right back wheel, and the right side door. A goat was found between seats in the back of the Noah. The scene was processed and the bodies confirmed dead and removed to the morgue. Deputy Superintendent in charge of operations for St. James, Aaron Samuels, said that the police are still carrying out an investigation into the deaths. Reports that we've gathered so far is that these men seem to have been here to steal goats, Samuel said. He urged members of the public not to take justice into their own hands. We want to leave the police to really go and do the investigations and arrest the perpetrators of predatory larceny, he said. Gunman shoots homeowner, locks house and leaves with the keys. Police have launched a search for a gunman who entered a man's home, shot and left him for dead, locked him up inside the dwelling and left with the house keys. The high drama played out on Mount Rose Crescent in Coral Gardens, St. James, on Thursday morning. The injured householder, said to be a customer service representative, has since been admitted to hospital after he was found and rescued by residents, the police said. Information received is that around 10:30 a.m., the man was showering at home when he was pounced on by the gunman, who bound his hands behind his back and shot him once in his chest. The assailant, the police said, then locked the victim inside his house and left on foot in the area with his house keys and a cell phone. Residents heard shouts for help coming from the victim's house and called the police. On arrival, lawmen managed to enter the dwelling and found the injured man lying in a pool of blood on his left side. He was naked and had his hands bound with tie straps. Police rushed the injured man to hospital, where he underwent surgery and was admitted. Police have since launched a probe and are searching for the gunman. U.S. resident Jones hours after landing in Jamaica. A U.S. resident who arrived in Jamaica on Wednesday morning reportedly drowned hours later while swimming in a river in Clarendon. He has been identified as 54-year-old Leroy Hill, otherwise called Tawny, a welder from Our Vernon, New York. Information received is that Hill and his wife arrived at Norman Manley International Airport on a flight from New York around 2:27 a.m. It is understood that sometime close to midday, he reportedly drove a motor car to Sutton River in Sutton District in Clarendon with a female friend. Police said the two reportedly went into the river and Hill got into difficulties. Residents, after several attempts, rescued him from the water in an unconscious state and tried to revive him. The residents also reportedly tried to access the same motor car he drove there to transport him to hospital, but this proved futile. The police were summoned and on arrival saw the lifeless body of the now deceased lying on his back, covered with bushes, about 60 feet from the river. He was clad in black underpants, no shirt, and a gold chain around his neck. The residents informed the police that with their efforts to revive Hill being futile, they covered the body with bushes as it was in the sun. The scene was processed and the body removed. The Champerton police are probing the incident. Gun and ammo seized on Balcom Drive. Lawmen from the St. Andrew South Police Division recovered a gun and several rounds of ammunition within the Kingston 13 area on Wednesday. Reports from the Huntsville police saw that about 11:20 a.m., a team conducted a snap raid at a premises on Balcom Drive, and a Glock 19 pistol, along with 4 magazines and a 26 9mm cartridges were seized during a search. No one was arrested for the find. St. Mary taxi operator accused of shooting passenger in the back charged. A taxi operator has been arrested and charged after he allegedly shot a passenger in the back while he was running from the car to escape a scuffle. The incident reportedly occurred on Thursday, June 1 in Quebec, St. Mary. Charged is 64-year-old Lloyd McCoy, otherwise called Jimmy, of Ferguson Lane, Port Maria in the parish. He is set to appear in the Port Maria Parish Court on Thursday, July 13, to answer to charges of wounding with intent, illegal possession of a firearm and ammunition, and using a firearm to commit a felony. Reports are that about 11:05 a.m., McCoy and the passenger had a disagreement when McCoy pulled a gun and pointed it at the passenger's head. A tussle ensued, during which the passenger used a knife to stab McCoy and ran from the vehicle. McCoy reportedly fired at the man, hitting him in his lower back. The police were summoned, and on arrival, the injured men were assisted to the hospital where they were treated. McCoy was arrested and charged on Wednesday, July 5. Woman convinced missing son is dead. Them dead, said Beverly Kidon matter-of-factly, as she opined on the fate of her son, Justice Graham, and his girlfriend, Shanique Salmon, who have been missing since June 24. Kidon, while hoping to be wrong, counted Graham among her deceased children. The mother of 6 said 2 of her children are now dead, Graham included, as a result of violence. Reports from the Huntsville police are that about 9:30 a.m. on June 24, Graham, 28, and Salmon were last seen leaving their home in Berwick Road, Kingston 13. It is believed they were heading to the Sandbed community in Norbrook, St. Andrew. The couple has not been seen or heard from since. It's rough, and me don't know if I chop him, or if I something they used to lick him in him head. Me don't know if them bear man them something they kill me. If him alive, me want him, and if him dead, me want the bodies. Me want both of them, I want to know what happened to them, Kidon said. Kidon said yesterday that it is unlikely that her son would be alive and not contact her. It's almost 2 weeks now, and me know if him did alive, reach out to us, because I may do everything for them, the distraught mother said. She revealed that her son was on the police's list for murder committed in his community, was careful to avoid areas where he could be in the crosshairs of persons who wanted him dead. In fact, the mother said she ensured Graham did not spend a lot of time in Berwick Road, noting that he narrowly escaped death after being attacked at his gate a year ago. Last September, man come at the gate to kill him and them fired 28 shots at him, but only 4 shots him getting him hands and foot. He was doing road work when him attack him, and him run and drop, and them go over him and fire at him. But God made none of the shots and never catch him in him head. From that, him is not here, him just come and go, she said. The mother said her son has since been unfairly targeted by persons, including the police, who blame him for various incidents that have been committed in the area. My son tell me say him going on the police case, but him make things cool off first, because him know him never guilty of anything. The same day him go missing and the same day him plan for go in, Kidon said. She considered that her son is no saint, but insists that he is innocent of the various acts of wrongdoing for which he has been accused. Him very quiet, and you'll have to trouble him to get him out. Him is no saint, but don't get the thing twisted, but you'll have to trouble him. Him have too much friends, but otherwise some that him alright, she said. Anyone knowing the whereabouts of Shanique Salmon and Justin Graham is being asked to contact the Huntsville police at 876-923-7111, Police 119 emergency number, or the nearest police station. Businessman guilty of transporting over $130 million worth of cocaine. Western Jamaica-based businessman Ron Cummings has been found guilty of breaching the Dangerous Drugs Act in relation to reports that he was held with $850,000 or $130,008,520 Jamaican dollars worth of cocaine inside a bus he was driving in March 2022 and will be sentenced on October 4. Cummings was being on trial before the St. James Parish Court, bore a resigned look on his face as he received the verdict and sentencing date from presiding judge Keisha Grant Price on Wednesday. Cummings was being tried on the charges of possession of, dealing in, trafficking, and conspiracy to traffic 17 kilograms of cocaine. He was found guilty on the first 3 charges, while the court offered no evidence on the conspiracy charge. While handing down the verdict, Grant Price stated that her decision was based on the prosecution's evidence that Cummings knew about the cocaine being hidden on the Toyota Hiace minibus he was driving at the time of his detention on March 7, 2022. In this case, which is of utmost importance, the court has in fact established that the accused man had cocaine in his possession and that he knew that what he had was in fact cocaine. There is nothing to say that this man never had control of this vehicle all the time, and this is inconsistent with the evidence given by the Crown, said Grant. The judge also addressed the claim made by Cummings' attorney Henry McCurdy that the defendant had borrowed the bus to transport painting materials because his own vehicle had broken down and that he had no knowledge of the cocaine being in the bus. You are borrowing a bus because your vehicle is buckling. People you do not know are loading items into the vehicle and you never even look into the back of the vehicle at all, Grant Price asked. What is curious is that you drove your vehicle, which had a history of problems, for a bargain of $130,000, the cost of the painting materials, but the value of the cocaine alone indicates somebody had a vested interest in it. Cummings subsequently had his bail extended until October 4 to allow time for a social inquiry report and an antecedent report to be prepared ahead of his sentencing hearing. According to court documents, Cummings was stopped by the police while driving the minibus along Long Hill in St. James on March 7, 2022 at 2:45 p.m. The bus was searched and the cocaine was found in the left hand and right hand panels of the vehicle. The cocaine was reportedly found wrapped in 16 packages, which were previously brought before the court as evidence for the prosecution's case. Under caution, Cummings claimed that he had borrowed the bus in order to pay a visit to his granddaughter. He was taken into custody and interviewed, following which he was arrested and charged with breaching the Dangerous Drugs Act. JBN, we keep you informed. Please remember to subscribe, like, share, leave us a comment, and click the notification bell to receive our daily news items.